Takuma was a lazy, stupid, sad, lonely loser who was only useful in being useless and playing his favorite video game. One day, he got summoned into the video game as a demon lord, and with the help of his friends, he had to save everyone. One day, Takuma, who was really into his favorite game, decided to upgrade his gear after winning a PvE match. Suddenly, his screen started flashing, pulling Goku's solar flare move on him. When he opened his eyes, he found himself in the body of his in-game character, Diablo, surrounded by two dazzling waifus. One was an elf named Shera, with a very noticeable figure, and the other was named Rem. The girls had performed a summoning jutsu to summon Zoro Roronoa to help them on their adventure. But instead, they ended up summoning Diablo himself, shocked to find himself in the world of cross-reverie. Diablo initially stayed quiet while the girls argued because he was shy and not used to socializing. However, he eventually got annoyed by their arguing and commanded them to stop and join his harem. Although they initially refused, some magic forced them to obey. A collar suddenly appeared around their necks, confusing them because it was supposed to appear on Diablo. He then remembered that he was wearing an anti-magic ring that not only cancels magic used on him, but also reflects it. He basically pulled an Uno reverse card on them. They all headed to town to register at the Adventure Guild and ended up staying in the same room. While they were trying to figure out how to break the curse, there was a knock at the door. A mage, followed by her subordinates, entered and introduced herself as Cells, the town's chief mage. She said she wanted to talk to Rem. They all went downstairs, and over a meal, Cells spoke to Rem in a very mysterious way. When Diablo asked about it, one of Cell's subordinates rudely told him to stay out of it. Diablo got angry and vowed to put the guy in his place, but Cells stopped them and left. Diablo really got the Saitama treatment. Diablo then asked Rem about the secret, but she refused to tell him. So he carried her to their room and began playing with her sensitive cat ears. Rem confessed that she was afraid he would leave her, but Diablo reassured her that he was the most powerful person there and would never leave her. Feeling relieved, Rem started to cry and revealed that she had the soul of Krebskulam, the real demon lord, inside her. Diablo remembered this name from the game, where Krebskulam was mentioned as the only demon lord, but never appeared. So Diablo had taken the title of demon lord after becoming the strongest player. Rem explained that Cells was trying to exorcise the demon lord, because if she died, it would be like opening Pandora's box and unleashing chaos. Diablo promised to find a way to extract the demon lord's soul safely, and then went out for a walk. During his walk, he was confronted by a group of drunk weirdos who were drunk and weird. They insulted him, and one of them went as far as summoning a level 30 salamander, which was considered very powerful, and attacked Diablo. However, the salamander's fire had no effect on Diablo, as level 30 was nothing to him. He revealed that he was level 150, scaring the group. He then calmly walked through the salamander's fire and used explosion magic to completely destroy the creature, causing the others to flee in fear. Diablo woke up in the Peace of Mind Inn and realized that everything that had happened the previous day was real and not a dream. He found himself in an awkward situation, with his left hand on the luscious melons of Shera. He tried removing it, but his hand was too cultured for him, so it started fondling it gracefully instead. The right hand wanted a bit of fun too, and went straight to Rem's miniature golf balls. Despite the grass not being as green as the other side, his right hand knew it took two to tango, and it stood on business. He eventually stopped when they woke up. Later, while walking through the streets, Diablo noticed the variety of races around him. He observed that humans were as rare as Billy Butcher's good decisions, and Rem explained that this district was reserved for demi-humans only. Diablo reflected on the differences in status between humans and demi-humans, and wondered if levels determined a person's strength in this world. Shera confirmed this, but mentioned that she didn't know her level yet, while Rem revealed that she was a level 40 summoner. They were heading to the Adventurers Guild, where Shera could register and find out her level. When they arrived at the Adventurers Guild, they witnessed a fight between two beastmen, which made Diablo nervous. They quickly moved to the second floor to register as adventurers. Diablo, who couldn't read, asked Shera to fill out the forms for him, pretending he disliked tedious tasks, but deep down, he had the cognition of Patrick's. Shera happily agreed, feeling this reinforced her role as his master. However, things became more complicated when a blood seal was required to complete the registration. Although Diablo was anxious, he bravely cut his thumb to create the seal, but the cut turned out to be deeper than he expected, deeper than the lyrics of K-pop music to 14-year-old girls. Next, they stood before a mirror that appraised their levels. Shera was disappointed to discover she was level 30. When Diablo stepped up, the mirror malfunctioned. It really couldn't handle all that demon aura, drawing the attention of Sylvie, the guildmaster, who invited them into her office. Inside the office, Sylvie explained that Diablo's level was so high that there were no suitable job requests for him. Despite this, Diablo insisted on working, as he was only interested in the rewards. Sylvie assigned the group to hunt a Madeira snake in the man-eating woods. On their way to the woods, the group discussed the job they had been given and how it was supposedly requested by Celeste from the Mages Association. The conversation shifted to Diablo, suggesting they should have used a teleport spell or item to get there faster. But they learned that no such things existed in this world. When they finally reached the man-eating woods, Diablo noticed how eerie the woods were compared to the game. Suddenly, Shera warned them that they were surrounded. Diablo quickly cast Burst Rain, setting part of the woods on fire and forcing their ambushers, a group of elves, to reveal themselves. One of the elves, named Celsior, recognized Shera and claimed he was there to rescue her. He aimed his bow at Diablo, demanding that he release Shera, who he revealed was the princess of the Kingdom of Greenwood. Diablo asked why the elves made a request through the Adventurers Guild under the Mages Association, but Celsior refused to answer, making Diablo suspect that only one person could have arranged this. Frustrated, Shera spoke out, saying she didn't want to marry her brother and bear his child, as that would be too Alabama. The elves then attacked Diablo with a barrage of arrows, but they had no effect on him. Celsior fired a powerful Tempest arrow, but it also failed to harm Diablo. Unimpressed, Diablo cast Freesia, freezing the surrounding area. Suddenly, Gallic appeared and scolded the elves, but Diablo and Rem quickly reprimanded them. Upset, Gallic fled, and Shera ordered the elves to inform her brother that she was never returning home. With the situation resolved, the group returned to the inn. That night, Shera and Diablo got hot and heavy in bed, with Diablo experiencing heaven again as he unintentionally hit the jackpot once again. But it was interrupted by an angry Rem. Diablo and his group met with Sylvie in her office, where she assigned them a special request specifically commissioned for Diablo. The request had been submitted by Celeste, likely due to one of her subordinates' recent misconduct towards the group. Rem was hesitant to accept the quest because of her debt to Celeste, but Diablo insisted on taking it, even if he had to go alone. After the decision was made, Shera started reading the quest, expecting some epic boss fight or dungeon crawl, but nope. It was just a freaking delivery mission to the bridge of Ulog. As they were about to leave the Adventurers Guild, this dude named Emil showed up, looking like he just jumped out of a shonen anime, and challenged Diablo to a duel. Emil, a superhuman level 50 warrior, boasted about his abilities and declared his intention to rescue Rem and Shera from Diablo, whom he believed had enslaved them. Despite being somewhat impressed by Emil's bold personality, Diablo remained in character and taunted him. Emil then attacked Diablo using a sword ability called Sword Smite, but Diablo easily parried the attack with his wand like it was a stone thrown at a titan. Emil tried another sword skill, Alp's Fall, but Diablo knocked him out before he could complete it. Diablo reflected on the skill disparity between the people in this world and the original game, concluding that Emil was simply a fool. When Emil recovered and tried to attack again, Rem and Shera explained their situation to him. Understanding the truth, Emil laughed off the misunderstanding, apologized, and offered his help if they ever needed it, before leaving in a cheerful manner. Diablo and Shera then headed to the bridge of Ulog with the quest items. On the way, Shera suggested taking a dip in a nearby river, but a flustered Diablo rejected the idea, and they continued on their journey. When they reached the bridge, they were stopped by a group of soldiers who mistook Diablo for a Fallen. However, one soldier named Boris recognized Diablo as the horned demon everyone had been talking about in town. Not for fondling melons, but for other good or worse deeds. Boris informed them that a Fallen was approaching with a large army of demons. Diablo noted that such an event had never occurred in the original game and wondered what could have triggered it. He also observed that the soldiers at the bridge were low level and would easily be overwhelmed by the demons. However, Faltra City should be safe due to the protective barrier around it. Shera suspected that the invasion might be related to the demon's desire to resurrect Krebskulm, and Diablo suggested that they might know about Rem's seal. Boris then gave Diablo a notice of gratitude for the delivery, and after hearing about Boris's concerns, Diablo volunteered to stay and help defend against the invasion. Meanwhile, back at the inn, Celeste informed Rem that she had let Gallic go for his recent actions. The conversation shifted to Diablo's background, with Celeste expressing suspicion that Diablo might be a Fallen rather than a demon lord from another world. Rem defended Diablo, insisting that he was not a Fallen. Suddenly, a frantic Gallic arrived with bloody hands, demanding confirmation from Celeste that he wasn't fired from the Mages Association. As Gallic prepared to stab himself with a black demonic dagger, Rem tried to stop him by summoning a shadow snake, but she failed. Gallic stabbed himself and transformed into the Fallen Gregor. Meanwhile, Diablo continued to battle with the demon invaders until the demon commander, Edelgard, confronted him, leading to a top-tier showdown. As the demons were getting ready to play Clash of Clans, refugees flooded into Faltra City, trusting in the safety provided by Celeste's barrier. However, Celeste faced a dire situation as her former subordinate, Gallic, had transformed into a Fallen named Gregor. Rem and Celeste fled from the Peace of Mind Inn, but found themselves cornered at a dead end, where Gregor confronted them. In a desperate attempt to fight back, Rem performed a summoning jutsu and summoned Asulao. But the summon was sent back to the game lobby by Gregor with a single punch. Just as hope seemed lost, Emil arrived from the sky, landing near Rem and Celeste. He was soon joined by a large group of adventurers who came to their aid. Emil, true to his creed as defender of all women, which is just a fancy term for a huge simp, engaged in battle with Gregor. Meanwhile, at the bridge of Ulog, Diablo continued his battle against Edelgard. He dismissed her attacks as futile, and when Edelgard attempted her special move, Sacrifice Charge, it proved ineffective against Diablo. Astonished that her strongest attack had failed, Edelgard was taunted by Diablo, who noted that it was the first time he had been damaged since entering this world. At that moment, Boris informed Diablo that Faltra City was under attack by a Fallen who was targeting Celeste and Rem. Realizing the gravity of the situation, Diablo began to cast a grand magic spell, warning Edelgard to withdraw or face the consequences. When Edelgard refused, Diablo unleashed White Nova, obliterating the surrounding area and the demon army. Although heavily wounded, Edelgard survived, but Diablo wasted no time in casting the return spell, teleporting himself and Shera back to the town. Upon their return, they found that Gregor had already defeated the adventurers, and a severely injured Emil refused to give up. Diablo arrived just in time, using a wind spell to push Gregor back. Before engaging Gregor, Diablo acknowledged Emil's efforts and reassured him that he would handle the rest. He then healed Emil's wounds through Celeste and turned his attention to Gregor. Gregor cast Dark Bullet, but the spell was instantly reflected back by Diablo's Uno reverse ring. Diablo retaliated with his own Dark Bullet, shattering much of Gregor's protective skin. Gregor countered with Dark Press, but it too was reflected back by Diablo. Seizing the advantage, Diablo cast multiple Dark Press spells, pinning Gregor to the ground with immense gravitational force. Gregor, now helpless, begged for mercy, but Diablo showed none, finishing him off with the Naraku spell. With the battle over, Shera tearfully embraced Diablo, while Rem grabbed his hand, thanking him for saving her. Trying to maintain his Demon Lord persona, Diablo coldly proclaimed that he helped Rem only because she belonged to him due to the slave collar around her neck. In the aftermath of the attack, the death toll was released, revealing that the majority of those lost were adventurers. 10 days later, Diablo rested in bed, nearly culturally lured into the good plot by Shera, only for Rem to intervene with a dropkick. The two girls latched onto Diablo's arms, vying for his attention until Sylvie arrived. She informed the group that the Lord of the city had received a non-negotiable ultimatum: hand over Shera within 10 days, or it's full-time battle royale. The Lord and Sylvie requested Diablo's help in preventing the war at hand.